Hello, gals. My name is Josh Rocha, and this is a video essay for my technology and society class. Over the course of our history as a society, we have introduced plenty of technology into our everyday lives. It all almost becomes second nature to think about them. But no technology has truly pierced our daily lives quite like the smartphone. I don't think it is a stretch in any way to say that the smartphone has completely changed the way we as a society interact with each other and communicate with one another in the modern age. But in just what way has the smartphone affected us? Is it a remarkable technological advancement that allows us to do things our predecessors wouldn't even be able to dream of? Or is it the beginnings of a downhill and slippery slope that we are not ready for? This video aims to try and answer this seemingly impossible question. So how about we get started? Just so that everyone is on the same page, when I refer to a smartphone, I'm referring to a phone that can perform many of the same functions of a computer. The most important one we will be focusing on is the ability to connect to the internet and look up whatever answer we need for a question we have at the time. I feel it is greatly underestimated just how much of an impact it is that we are able to access the entire internet from a device that we carry around in our pockets every day. A wonderful way to put just how drastic of an impact a smartphone has had is looking into traveling. It used to be one of those things where you had to go to a travel agency, go out of your way to call the airline, and it more or less being required to have a tour guide for wherever you were going. With the introduction of a smartphone, not only is the process of getting a trip planned with an airline streamlined, but it is also able to essentially cut out the tour guide out of the equation entirely. Need to know where a well-known tourist attraction is? Just look it up on the map apps on your phone. Need to translate a language? Well, the smartphone is able to do that in the blink of an eye. Need to know if a restaurant you never heard of before is good or bad? Look online for the reviews. And it isn't like you need a full-on computer for any of these things. You literally have a pocket-sized one you would have been carrying around either way. And I feel that is the most positive aspect of having a smartphone. The ability to have a whole world of information whenever it is needed is just such a factor as to why most people these days have a smartphone. But with all the good that comes with it, there is, of course, the other side of that coin. While it is true that we have a world of information at our fingertips, there is also the bittersweet reality that we also get to learn about the worst humanity has to offer. Sure, people may simply ignore certain subject matters that they may not want to engage with, but it does not change the fact that the information is out there and people do see it and they do get either angry or upset about viewing such. Another factor that plays a major role in this is that when people engage with each other on the internet, it is very easy for them to separate themselves and act in a way they would otherwise never act in person. The internet just allows for people to act in a horrible fashion and not to be punished for it. So it results in people who have grown up in the age of internet to have a higher rate of depression compared to a generation which did not grow up with the internet as a part of their everyday life. The smartphone has even resulted in less of a desire to have a strong sense of independence. This lack of wishing for freedom has resulted in not only a decrease of young people working jobs, but also decreased the amount of younger people who would have their driver's license by the time they graduated high school. It all has simply lost its shine in the day where, for the most part, young people get all they could ever ask for in their smartphone. It has even been shown that smartphones have resulted in people not getting enough sleep in general. So while there is a lot of good that comes from them, it cannot be argued that there is no bad end of the deal. So, where does this leave us? Well, if we were to look at it from an objective standpoint, some people would argue that the smartphone is a complete revolutionary change for the better in how we interact with the world, but how its side effects and unintended consequences have affected how we interact with each other. There is plenty for either side of the argument to have a good basis for a discussion, but at the end of the day, I certainly don't think it needs to be argued that the smartphone has absolutely affected the way we interact with the world and each other, regardless of whether that change be for the benefit or the detriment to us all.